Hi, I'm sorry that I'm late, but I just wanted to add my 2 cents. Anyway, I wanted to go ahead and start with the component display theory. Um, I really liked both of them actually, the expository and inquisitory, because I felt that in teaching, um, you can use both of them, and I believe that Christ used both of them all the time because he gave examples and stories like parables that supported his principles. And he also asked people to think of their own lives. And the one that I thought of was from the Good Samaritan, where he told the story and then he asked, "Who is this man's neighbor?" And then he said to them, "Go and do likewise," which I thought was made a lot of sense. So I think that's a very good way of teaching anything to be more like Christ. So then in order to maintain balance through the teaching experience, I think that the best way to maintain balance is through conversation, because if it is a one-way teaching experience, the participant may not receive the full benefit unless they're able to talk through their own issues or through their own experiences. So I think conversation is a really good way to maintain balance through the teacher and participant. One of the principles that I really liked through Merrill's principles of um, teaching is that learning is facilitated when the learner is engaged in solving the real world problems. I think that sharing real world problems from personal experiences or from others, it makes the learner realize that they're not alone and that other people have had experiences like unto theirs, or even maybe people that they know. And if you invite learners to think about the story, instead of asking from their own personal experiences, they will probably be thinking about their own experiences anyway. So I think that that is one that I really liked. And also, um, I liked how they also emphasize on that learning is facilitated when the learner is required to use their new knowledge to solve problems, because so many of us will learn new things but then not use the education that we have found, like is in parenting sometimes when you read a book and you want to implement those new found principles but you don't. So I think a lot of it has to do with practice, and just realize that you have to practice in order to change old habits. And when the question came about, do you use Holy Ghost in teaching, even though your participants will not be LDS? Of course. I think, of course. I think the Holy Ghost should be used in every case of teaching, because the Holy Ghost plays a huge role for the teacher. It brings peace and understanding and guidance. I think that the Holy Ghost should be drawn on in all aspects of life and in teaching. So whether or not they're LDS, I think the Holy Ghost should be there. So the and with building relationships, the textbook uh, touched on relevance, respect, and participation. Well, family life education is relevant to everybody because we are all part of a family, and even though for those who don't think that they are, which of course they um, many people try and escape families or withdraw because of certain situations, but this is relevant to them anyway. Respect, it's as easy as listening. So I think that that's something we all can work on, because even with my own family or my own children, sometimes I disregard them because I don't listen as I should. So that, I think that's also another one. And participation is in asking questions and interacting with those who are listening. And how, next question or two is build rapport. How to build rapport to establish a relationship with participants. I think we need to see them as God would see them, and to remember that they're fighting a battle that I don't understand, and because I'm not them, I've never walked in their shoes, but I can help to give them tools that will help them in that battle. I think another one is to listen to them, truly listen, and take interest in their lives by asking questions. Also to reach out and be amiable and approachable, be friendly. You know, some of us forget that sometimes all they need is a friendly face, and they're willing to open up and talk about things that are difficult. And we have to remember that all of us are learning, and we're all in this life together. So we all have difficulties. And let's see. I think teaching through discussion is very important. I've been a teacher, and I have taught my own children. The learner, from my experience as a learner, is actively involved and participating in discussions, then it goes way better than if they're not. So if they can solve their own problems, like if you can give them the tools to solve their own problems, and they think of their own solutions through the tools that you've given them, it goes so much better because they feel they have control. So I think involving others in discussion is more about guiding rather than controlling, just like earlier. And an example would be in our family home meetings, we take turns teaching the lessons, and sometimes we go off on a tangent, which could or could not be related, but sometimes it's exactly what needs to be discussed with that particular family home meeting. So in 4 small words, follow the Holy Ghost. So mistakes I'm likely to make through teaching or in teaching is I tend to interrupt. It's not because I don't value what the other person's saying, but it's because I get so excited when they're starting to understand what we're talking about that I want to empathize with them, and I forget to let them finish their thoughts before I jump in and start talking or start exploring with another example. Teaching methods that have profound effect on learning, and what will I do to provide more focus on the how? Well, I need to ask myself the questions, will this uplift or will this offend? And if it's offensive, then don't say it, but if it's uplifting, then go ahead. And I need to focus on the readiness, on the participants' readiness to learn and how they learn. And I will also need to pay attention to pacing, because if we're not ready to move on to other topics, then we need to spend more time on the current ones. Anyway, I think those are the things that I gained out of this few chapters, and I'm grateful for them. It was very interesting, and we'll see you later.